Hey guys, welcome back to Blazed and Confused, and today we're going to be talking about Marina Rodriguez versus Michelle Waterson. I'm going to be giving a breakdown as well as a prediction, so let's jump straight into it. So kicking off the main card, we have Amanda Hebas versus Angela Hill. Now it's a great fight in the strawweight division. Amanda Hebas is a savage in the UFC. Unfortunately just coming off a loss to Marina Rodriguez, but previously to that fight she's shown great jiu-jitsu, shown also decent striking. She's very good on the ground, as I say, good grappling, good takedown attempts. She was able to dominate Randa Marcos on the ground, and Randa Marcos is known for her ground game. So the fact that she was able to dominate a fighter who, as durable and experienced as Randa Marcos, was a big win, as well as getting a submission over Paige Van Sant. Another big win for her. So Amanda Hebas is a great fighter. If you look at her opponent Angela Hill's been in there with some of the best in the world. Michelle Waterson, Claudia Gadelha. That fight she arguably could have won. Angela Hill is very active, very high-paced fighter, puts on a lot of pressure, got some really good boxing. So I think this is a good fight for Angela Hill. If she can beat an up-and-coming prospect like Hebas, I definitely think that puts her back into the top 10. That definitely gives her the opportunity to get those as I say, top 10 matchups, those top 5 matchups, and start getting the respect. She's got a bit of a dodgy record. She's 13-9, which is quite bizarre, but she's only lost to the best. As I say, I think this is a really good fight, good way to kick off the main card. As for a prediction, I definitely would favour Amanda Hebas. I think Amanda Hebas is going to come in there. I think she's going to take Angela Hill down. I think she's going to look for a submission. I think, if anything, we've really seen Angela Hill doesn't really have that much ground game. She's not really that good at submission. She's just a very good striker. So I definitely think Hebas will look to test her ground game again. And I think this is, as I say, great fight. I can see Amanda Hebas getting it done in round 2. I think if she can wear Angela Hill down, get her up against the fence, sort of wear her down with the shoulder strikes, the foot stomps and the strikes and stuff like that, as I say, to sort of tire Angela Hill down, nullify her boxing, as I think that's her biggest advantage, my guys, coming into this fight. Great fight. So moving on to the next fight is Carlos Diego Ferreira versus Gregor Gillespie. Now it's a really good fight. Diego Ferreira is a great fighter. He's also just coming off a loss to Beneil Dariush, but if you look at the run that Beneil Dariush is on, there's absolutely no slouch and no shame in losing to a guy like Dariush. Gregor Gillespie hasn't fought since he lost to Kevin Lee. He's kind of a devastating head kick knockout. So it'll be interesting to see Gregor Gillespie return, see how he looks, see how his confidence is going into this fight. I think Ferreira is still a great fighter in the UFC. I think if you look at the Dariush fight, I think there's a clear size advantage over it. I think Ferreira is quite a small lightweight, so I think Gillespie is probably more his weight, more his size, so I think it's a bit more even for him. I think this could go either way. I think this could be a stand-up fight, because I think both guys are pretty stellar on the ground. Both guys are elite jiu-jitsu. Gregor Gillespie, I know he's mainly a wrestler, but I think it could be an Usman versus Covington style fight where neither guy really wants to take that chance of getting each other to the ground. So it could just be a good stand and bang, which I definitely love to see. Ferreira doesn't really have too much power. If you look at the Dariush fight, Dariush pretty much dominated him most of the fight. He got some pretty hard body kicks thrown to him, but I think if Ferreira can come back, if he can beat an up and coming prospect like Gillespie, who will be hungry coming into this fight. He was meant to fight Brad Riddell not too long ago, so I think he's going to come in with a vengeance, looking to prove that he's still one of the top lightweights. So I think this is a really good fight for Gillespie. As for who I'd favour, I definitely would favour Gillespie. As I say, I think his fire, I think he's going to come in really, annoyed, hungry just to get a victory. I think, if you look at the run he was on before Kevin Lee, a lot of people were thinking that he could have been the next lightweight champion, and I think he's definitely still got that potential if he can beat a top 10 fighter in Diego Ferreira. He's also been in there with some of the best fighters in the world. I think this definitely puts him on the spot to maybe get a top 5 matchup. So I definitely predict Gregor Gillespie by decision. Hard name to pronounce, but moving on to the next fight. In the heavyweight division, you have Marcos Rodrigo de Lima versus Maurice Green. Now, I don't really know too much about de Lima or anything, but Maurice Green is a very game fighter. He always comes ready. He may not always win, but he's very he takes it very seriously. He's sort of very emotional in the octagon. He's always hungry for the win. He is sort of coming off a couple of losses. He's only lost to some of the best fighters in the world. Justin Taffer, as well as Alexei Olenek. So he's only lost to some really solid fighters, I think. Again, you never know how Maurice Greene is going to look at. Again, all you know is that he's going to come in and he's going to put his heart and soul into the octagon. You can tell he likes to fight. He fights at Jackson Wink, the same training facility as John Jones. So he's got a lot of good training partners around him to definitely get the win. But just looking at De Lima's resume, he's a good fighter. He's got a good record. So I think this could be a good fight for Maurice Greene to return to. Unfortunately, De Lima is coming off quite a few losses. Actually, just looking at his resume now, it's not necessarily the best. Seems a bit of a journeyman again, but I think this is the right fight to make for Maurice Greene. I think they're both sort of in similar paths in the UFC. They are sort of hit or miss. So I think stylistically it is a good fight. Maurice Greene is a very good striker, got very heavy hands. He's also got very good ground game. He's got quite a few submission attempts in there. So I think as for who I'd favour, I definitely want to root for Maurice Greene just because he is is easy to root for, just how emotional he is and how seriously he takes it. I think he could definitely get the job done. But yeah, moving on to the next fight, the last three fights, which are pretty stellar. You got Neil Magny versus Jeff Neal. Now it's a very good fight. Neil Magny just coming off a loss to Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa's just on a 6-fight winning streak, which is absolutely insane. So absolutely no shame in losing to Michael Chiesa. Jeff Neal just coming off to another big opponent in Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So they're both sort of just coming off these big losses, but again to no slouches in the division. This is a good fight in the welterweight division. They were originally scheduled to main event, I believe, last summer, so it's good that the UFC are making this fight. It's good that they agreed to sort of grant each other this match. As for who I'd favour, I definitely want to favour Jeff Neal. I think he has got good striking. I think if you look at the Wonderboy fight, Wonderboy striking is so elite and so good. He was just able to make Jeff Neal look average, but in a matter of fact, Jeff Neal is an absolute savage. He's knocked out Mike Perry, the first fighter to ever do that. Coming in to the Wonderboy Thompson fight, he was on a 5-fight winning streak. He was talked about as a potential welterweight champion, a tough matchup for even Kamaru Usman. He's even said if he can't beat Neil Magny, then he probably doesn't like his chances against Usman. So I think this is a good fight for Jeff Neal to prove that he is one of the top 10 best welterweights in the world. It's also a good fight for Neil Magny just to sort of get back on the winning ways. If he can beat a high-level striker like Jeff Neal, who is still very talked about, I think it also puts him back in the spot to get a top 10, top 5 matchup. If you look at the fight stylistically, Neil Magny is more wrestler heavy. He is more of a grappler, so it'll be interesting to see Jeff Neal's ground game. We haven't really seen too much of it. We've just seen him get a bunch of knockouts, hence the name Hands of Steel. So it's a good fight for Jeff Neal. If we've seen anything against grapplers, kryptonite, it's those uppercuts, those body kicks and stuff like that. If you look at what Derek Lewis did to Curtis Blades, so if Jeff Neal can catch Neil Magny coming in with an uppercut or just sort of trick him with an overhand left or something like that, really get Neil Magny thinking and not wanting him to shoot and sort of nullify his grappling, and I could definitely see Jeff Neal getting the job done. But it could be a one-sided sort of grappling match from Neil Magny where he dominates Jeff Neal the entire fight. But as for my prediction, I definitely predict Jeff Neal getting the knockout done. I think, in Neil Magny's last fight from Michael Chiesa, I think he took a lot of damage and a lot of wear and tear. I think Jeff Neal will definitely look to exploit that. So I can definitely see Jeff Neal getting a KO either in rounds 2 or 3. I think, as I say, if he can wear Neil Magny down, sort of beat him up, bust him to the body, to the legs, just really tire Neil Magny out, which will be a tough test to do, but I think Jeff Neal could definitely get it done. But moving on to the next fight, the co-main event, we have the return of Donald Cowboy Cerrone fighting Alex Morono. We know Alex Morono just coming off a loss to Pettis, but previous to that he beat Reese McKee, who's no longer in the UFC unfortunately, but he put up a dominant performance against Reese McKee. He bloodied his face, just sort of walked him down, it was a good win. No shame in losing to Anthony Pettis. He's a former champion in the UFC. I think this is a good fight for Morono to get a legend on his resume, even though Donald Cerrone is on a 5-fight losing streak. He's still got the most finishes in the UFC. He's still got a lot of achievements in the UFC. So I definitely do like this style of fight for Alex Morono. I think this is a tough fight for Cowboy to potentially retire on. I think Alex Morono is quite a young, up-and-coming savage, potentially in the welterweight division. So I think this could be hit or miss for Donald Cerrone, but I do think even if he beats Alex Morono, it doesn't really do a whole lot. I mean, the dude is sort of withered. He's taken a lot of damage. I know, his attitude towards fighting. He loves fighting and he doesn't want to retire. But I seriously think after the Nico Price fight, he should have retired. You know what I mean? But I do like this style of fight. As for who I'd favour, I do have to favour Morono. I will be rooting for Cowboy because he is such a legend in the UFC. But I just think he is a bit withered. He's taken a lot of damage. He's been knocked out a few times, even though he has lost to the best in the world. I just think he's coming towards the end of his career. But yeah, my prediction would be Alex Morono by decision. But moving on to the last fight, Marina Rodriguez versus Michelle Waterson. It's a good fight for Marina Rodriguez. As I say, she is a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Very good Muay Thai fighter. So she got good accolades, good resume. She's only 13-1. So she's a good fighter coming out of Brazil. Now she's got some sort of big names on the resume. She's got a win over Tesha Torres, drew with Cynthia Calvillo, who's a good fighter in the division. She drew with Randa Marcos. So I'd say she's a good fighter in the division. I think Michelle Waterson is also a very good fighter in the flyweight division. I think stylistically this will probably be a stand and bang. Both fighters looking to take each other's head off. Even though Michelle Waterson is no KO artist or anything like that, she is very good. Sort of just taking her time and picking her opponents apart. She may not always be the most entertaining, but as I say, she is very good at just sort of picking her opponent down with her leg kicks, with her body kicks. She's very good kickboxing. So I think this is a good fight for Michelle Waterson. If she can beat Marina Rodriguez, who's coming off a big win over Amanda Ribas, this definitely puts her in a good position in the flyweight division. But yeah, my prediction would definitely be Michelle Waterson by decision. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for another video, as I really want to get back to more consistent uploads, and I haven't been uploading as much recently, but I definitely want to get back into the rhythm a lot more. I do appreciate all the support you guys give me on my videos. But yeah guys, peace.